Hi, everybody. It's Holly
And Heather.
and welcome. It's Thursday, y'all. We've got a Thursday edition of Everything Elvis. Why? Because we've had so much fun this week.
Yes. Welcome in, everybody. All I got to say is, what's up, pussycat? What's new, pussycat? We have so much new to talk about today. We're excited about a lot of things. We're going to talk about Tom Jones. We saw him. We experienced him at the Ryman here in Nashville last night. It was a great show. We're going to tell you all about it, what we loved, what happened, what went on. And have you heard the news? Priscilla Presley, she's released information about her new memoir. It's going to be coming out soon. We're going to talk all about it today. What's the title? What's it going to be about? What are our thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your questions, concerns, and comments about that?
Yes.
And also a sad week this week in the Elvis world. It got a little smaller. We lost some very important people in the Elvis circle this week. We're going to honor them. We're going to talk about them and so much more. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss it.
I know y'all grab your coffee. Look, mine matches my shirt today.
Oh, it does. Oh, it matches really well.
Thank you.
Mine
So
doesn't.
grab some coffee. It is a rainy, stormy day here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm not happy about it. These April showers are coming on strong. But that's okay. We're here in the warm and the dry, and we've got you guys to chit chat with and talk about. So, grab your coffee, share this with your bestie, comment, let us know all your thoughts on everything we're going to be talking about.
And also, I forgot, we also have some Elvis treasures
Yes.
coming up at the end. So stay tuned for a reveal of some cool things we got from an Elvis bestie out there. And then, you know me, I'm always on the hunt. Picked up a few treasures as well from a family friend. So,
I mean, we're like the go-to people now. Like if anybody in the family has anything to do with Elvis, or they know someone that's like downsizing, moving, just wanting to get rid of stuff, we're their first call.
yes.
My aunt, she had me on the horn, and she's like, guess what? Somebody's got some Elvis stuff they want to get rid of, and I thought of you and Heather, so I'm like, well, I'll send this one. The Elvis Authority over here.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, while y'all are jumping on, hello. Thank you for joining us. I know it's a little bit of an odd day, so I'm sure a lot of y'all might be at work. It's early. Everybody's working, but, hopefully you can tune into the replay if you're not live here with us. We're also on YouTube. So if you're over there on YouTube, you can check us out over there and watch the replay there as well. Anyway, Heather,
Yeah.
where do we start, y'all?
So much.
Where do we
much.
start?
Yes,
so
this
much.
is a different day for us. And by the way, happy belated Easter.
Yes.
I hope everybody had a fantastic Easter.
Mhm.
Dad and I did. We just chillaxed and had fun. So it was a good Easter. I hope yours was as well. That's why we weren't on last Sunday. And then we're not going to be on this Sunday either, but we'll talk about that here a little bit later.
Yeah.
But we wanted to do this special Thursday because of the Tom Jones concert. And then, just like a lot of things like we said to talk about and everything.
Yeah.
So we didn't want a week to go by without seeing our Elvis besties. So.
Yeah, and it's been a lot. Like the last couple of weeks, not much is happening now. Like all sorts of like fun things and announcements. I know. So there's just like a lot to do.
So let's talk about Tom Jones, y'all. Amazing. So Holly and I told her to try to dig out her tour books, but I don't think she could find them.
I forgot. I should have looked.
So are they quickly accessible?
Let me go look while you talk. You talk, and I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Okay. Yes. So, of course, Elvis is our main man that Holly and I love and adore. But Holly and I at heart are music lovers and music fans. And the interesting thing is, whenever people ask us, what is your favorite genre or what's your favorite kind of music? Of course, it's always Elvis, first and foremost. And I guess you would say that we're mostly traditional country lovers because that's kind of what our grandparents were into, and then they passed that to our mom and dad, and then that's kind of what we listened to growing up. So all of your great traditional country artists
this is the weirdest thing ever. I'm coming back on, y'all. The universe, Heather and I, we feel like we are in the Elvis universe. Yeah. The universe just spoke to me. I literally just went in there because I told Heather last night. She said, do you have your Tom Jones vintage tour books? Because I got on this kick on eBay and started buying them years ago. And I thought I had
And there they were.
Stashed them away. No,
On the
I
top.
literally just walked in the room.
Mhm.
They were sitting in a pile on top of it. Like they weren't even in a box.
Amazing.
I'll have to
Amazing.
show you guys
But
this.
yes, we love traditional country music, like, you know, Merle Haggard and George Jones and Dolly and Loretta and Patsy Cline and Conway Twitty and all those, you know, great stuff and everything. But I feel like Holly and I also have a broad musical taste as well.
Listen, I love some 70s and
Yeah.
80s rock.
Yeah, I love, like 80s hair bands.
Oh my
Aerosmith.
gosh, I'm telling you what, 70s. I love everybody in the 70s.
Yeah, we
60s.
love Elton John, Billy Joel.
I even love the yacht rock. I mean, if I'm at the grocery store and a good yacht rock banger comes on, I'm there. I'm there for it.
Yeah, but Tom Jones is also somebody that we really love, especially Holly. Like, I've loved Tom Jones because, you know, I've like heard his songs and his music growing up and everything. But Holly really loves Tom Jones. And yes, she started this fascination like years ago because we also love a good flea market. And they have a great flea market here in Nashville, down at the old like fairgrounds and stuff. They have it like once every month. And when we first moved to Nashville, like, I'm not kidding, we went every month. We went at least
it's
one
a once
day.
a month thing, and we were there.
Yeah, at least once a day every month. We haven't been in years because we just haven't had that time and everything. But we would go, and there'd be certain things we'd look for. Like, I was always looking for Elvis treasures. I was always looking for like Elvis records and stuff. We also got into like collecting like old records as well, which you can't really see over here, but we have some of those on the wall and stuff. And then Holly got into like vintage tour books and
Well,
stuff.
because I'm telling you, if you're a music lover and you're in Nashville, you need to look up this flea market because it is in Nashville.
Mhm.
All these people, I guess, like little whatever you call a flea market person. There's always people, I hate to say it, people dying here in Nashville that had huge historic music careers, and I guess all their stuff gets thrown by the wayside because the kids or the grandkids or something doesn't want it. And these flea market people, I guess they gather them up, and so it is a plethora of records, tour books, old mementos. I mean, you can even, sometimes y'all, you can even find old stage costumes. I found an old Dolly Parton satin tour jacket
I know. It was really cool.
that is still in my closet. I'm gonna wear it one day.
Yeah.
Let y'all see it because it is awesome. And I know this one's waiting on to find one of those satin Elvis jackets, but it'll come. It'll be here.
I know. But anyway, so we love Tom Jones.
Yes.
And I mean, really, who doesn't love Tom Jones?
I know.
He's one of those like iconic voices and entertainers. And, you know, 6 Degrees from Elvis. I feel like you can tie every single person in some way back to Elvis.
Mhm.
You know, they either knew Elvis, they were friends with Elvis, they were influenced by Elvis or whatever. And we know that Tom Jones definitely loved Elvis.
For sure.
And, you know, they both had a mutual respect for each other's songs and voices and music and everything. And so we were so excited to get to see Tom last night. When we heard that he was coming, we were like, we got to get tickets.
Yeah.
Because Tom's getting up there. He's 85, he said.
In June.
He'll be 85 in June. So he's getting up there. And so we were like, you know, we're losing all these great people and stuff. And so we definitely wanted to go see him, you know, before then. And I'm telling you what, I am so happy that we did.
Yes.
He was incredible because that was my thing. Because, you know, like I said, Tom Jones can sing. Like, and he always sang really difficult, challenging, vocally challenging songs and things, and had some really great songs. And, you know, as people age and get older, a lot of people lose their voices.
Exactly.
You know,
It's sad.
Yeah, they lose their voices, and they can't, you know, sing as they did or sing as powerful as they did. But I'm telling you all what, I was like thinking to myself, I was like, oh, I really hope that Tom can still really, you know, like sing, you know, good for his sake. And just, you know, I would love to, you know, hear him one more time. And y'all, he did not disappoint. I could not believe how good he could still sing and how great he sounded.
Yeah, I'm like, I need to know your vocal routine. I need to know like what you're eating and drinking and supplements because he was phenomenal, y'all.
Yes. But yeah, he put on such a great show. He was so just adorable.
So cute. When he talked in between the songs.
Yes.
I could just tell he exuded that he was so happy to still be doing this, and he was so happy
that he still could.
that he could, and and I'll tell you what, it was a sellout crowd.
Yeah.
The Ryman was sold out, and when I say this, it was, you know, a wide range. Like the cool thing was we saw young people there that were like kind of that like interesting, eclectic, like you would not think they'd even know who Tom Jones was, on up to the people in their 90s. But when I tell you this, I thought the crowd response.
Oh,
It was almost like we were at Elvis weekend at Elvis concert because I'm telling
As
you,
soon
the
as he
people
came
were
out.
standing, they were yelling. I mean, I had these like kind of older people beside me. She was whooping it up. There was this hilarious man in the second row that, I mean, when he was giving it his all dancing, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
It was such an electric crowd, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think Tom fed off that.
If Tom is coming near you, go see him. Go see him because he is still killer. Yeah, it was so cool and it was so great to hear. Like he did sing a lot of his like newer songs because he's still recording.
Yeah.
Like he's still recording, still releasing albums and everything. He talked about that. Like he just released an album last year. It went like #1 on the British charts. And he was saying that he was the oldest person to have like #1 in the UK. But yes, it was like so cool. And, you know, even though those songs I didn't really like know and stuff, because, you know, I was there for the, I was there for the hits. I wanted to hear all the hits, all the like familiar songs and everything, which he did a good job of kind of sprinkling in, you know, new stuff or whatever. But even if it was like a newer song that I was like, I don't really know this song, or I was kind of like, okay, you know, not my favorite song. He just sings so good.
You don't care.
He just sings so good. It's like, wow.
And it's pitch perfect. And you could tell a lot of these stars, you know, I hate to say it, they lip sync. Or they have like those voice
they run it
there's
through
a machine you can run your voice through that'll keep you on the pitch, and like you can kind of always tell when a star's doing it. Not with him. That man was spot on, and there wasn't a bit of anything.
And he sang almost all of the songs I wanted him to.
Let's get into the negative.
I was really sad that he didn't sing She's a Lady. I really thought he was going to sing that one. That was like a huge hit, huge hit.
And here's the thing. There was at least 4 other people. Our sis Teresa was there with us. And that was the first thing she said to me after the concert. She was like, I can't believe he didn't do it. I was like, Heather's already mentioned it. And then some other ladies. I'm telling you, like, y'all, you gotta bring the girl that, you know, you brought to the dance.
Yeah.
Is that the saying? I don't know.
You got to dance with the one who brung you.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then, and he didn't do the Elvis song, the Never Gonna Fall in Love Again, which, you know, we were really hoping he would do that one. But I posted a lot of videos last night. So go back to Holly's Facebook because I knew that you all would want to see them as well and see how great he looked and sounded and everything. But of course he did It's Not Unusual, which, I mean, you could not help but smile and like move to that song. He did Delilah. So good. Awesome. He did Sex Bomb. Hilarious.
Loved it.
He even did, you know, when he did the old remake of Prince's Kiss, he did that. That was so cool.
And y'all, this was what's so cute. Because, you know, back in the day, Tom was the sex symbol now. Back in the day, and the ladies loved him. And that was his big thing, is like the ladies would throw their panties up on stage. He had at least half a dozen throwing them up there. I mean, he still got it, y'all. Nearly 85, and they were throwing those panties, and I was cracking up.
It was hilarious. It was
great.
But yeah, it was such a fantastic show, and so excited that we got to see him live again. If he comes again, I'm going again.
Yeah, I will too.
Yeah,
he said he's going to keep touring.
Yeah,
and Heather and I, listen, we're holding out hope, because I was like, you know, maybe he'll be touring one year. And in August, he'll be like near Memphis. And because, you know, everybody's like, why is he not Elvis Week? Why is he not Elvis Week? And, you know, like we said, I think they try their best. I think EPE is trying their best to get all these people, but it's just, they're busy. You know, Tom lives in Wales, I think, and LA half the time. So he's like, you know, Memphis is a stretch for him. Yeah. But I'm just fingers crossed that someday it's going to, like the galaxy's going to intertwine, and he's going to be like, oh my gosh. I'm in Memphis in August. I'm going to come to Elvis Week. So,
yeah. I mean, he still seems pretty busy, and like he's, you know, touring quite a bit. So, you know, maybe once he slows down a little bit more, he will, you know, hopefully come to Elvis Week. But I'll also tell you, speaking of, you know, seeing Tom and everything, I will say that it was a little bittersweet and a little emotional sitting there listening to him and watching him. And, you know, as he's talking about, you know, himself, and he actually came out and sang this song, which I hadn't heard. I'm guessing it's one of his newer songs called I'm Getting Old. It was like
so poignant.
It was so poignant. Also, I was kind of like, why are you starting with this?
I mean,
it was a little bit of like a downer and a little depressing and stuff. It was interesting because I feel like he was kind of coming out and establishing like, kind of establishing like, you know, I'm still here and I'm still Tom Jones and I'm still great, but I'm not quite the Tom Jones of yesteryear.
Like, I'm not going to be busting a move in my skin tight pants.
Yes, but you know me, I was telling Holly, I was like, I was really hoping he would come out to like, it's not unusual, float right into She's a Lady. But it was just bittersweet kind of sitting there listening to him. And, you know, he just briefly mentioned, you know, being friends with like Elvis and, you know, Johnny Cash and people. But just sitting there watching him and thinking about Elvis and, you know, how Elvis never got the chance to live and to still be singing and performing. And I think he would be just like Tom.
Yeah.
I think Elvis would still be singing at 90 years old. I think he would still have a phenomenal voice. I think he would still be selling out shows, touring, you know, doing what he loved and everything. Because, yeah, you could still just see the love and the passion that Tom had for singing and performing and for the, you know, the like, you know, relationship and interaction with the audience and the crowd that he, you know, so loves and everything. And I just kept thinking, you know, it's just sad that, you know, we don't have Elvis, and you just sit there and think about, you know, like, what would Elvis be doing now? You know, what songs would he be singing? What music have we missed out on that he would have recorded and he would have, you know, sang and performed and everything? So it was a little bittersweet, you know, because then you also sit there and think about, you know, if Elvis were still here, maybe him and Tom would be touring together.
Oh my God. What a, listen,
you know, maybe they'd even be doing like him and Tom and like Wayne Newton. Maybe they'd be doing like a Vegas
Heather,
residency.
they'd be like the new Rat Pack.
Right? But there's just so many like, you know, what ifs and unanswered questions and everything out there that just, you know, when you see somebody like Tom, because, you know, he like, you know, sat down some, he stood up some, and, you know, he still tried to kind of like move and everything. But again, he's 80, almost 85. So, you know, he's not going to like, because Holly and I were laughing after we got done with the show. We actually like looked up like old Tom Jones, like,
because Heather's not, I remember old Tom, like, because I go back and watch YouTube videos of people all the time, and Heather hadn't really seen some, and I was like, I'm telling you, he busts a move.
I mean, he did. Oh my gosh. It was like crazy, like how he could like
60s.
Yeah, like how he could like dance and like move and everything. And that's also kind of crazy to watch, you know, somebody like that, but then to see them get old. And to see them age and, you know, how like different it is and everything. But, you know, yeah, it's just to think about Elvis still doing that. I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't still be busting out Poke Salad Annie and Suspicious Minds, but, you know, just, oh my gosh.
I'll tell you,
to be able to like
you
see him and still hear him.
If you close your eyes last night, you would swear it was 1975 and he's at the peak of his vocal performance. I mean, it was just as good.
Yeah. So that was really a great show.
Yes.
And I tell you guys what, the Elvis follows me and guides me, and I am in this weird Elvis universe world, I feel like, all the time, where things like happen, because literally, you know, as I said, I didn't get tickets right off when they went on sale. I wish I had. So we had, I mean, the ramen, the great thing about the ramen is it's so, the way it's kind of set up, it's very intimate. There's not really a terrible seat in the house, but it's like Holly and I said, we would have loved to have been even like closer and stuff, but I didn't get tickets until, later on,
because we never know where we're going to be.
Yeah. And I was like, are we going to be able to make it work, whatever. So I got them kind of last minute, and they were like, whatever. And so we literally weren't even sitting together. Like, Holly was on the row in front of me and I was like right behind her and stuff. But I'm telling y'all what, lo and behold, when we walk into the ramen and sit down, guess who was sitting beside me?
Take a guess, y'all. But before you say it, take a guess in the comments. Who do you think in the Elvis world was sitting beside Heather? And let's come back to that in a minute, because that's gonna be cute. I can't wait to see your guesses.
Yeah.
While you're guessing, Heather, say hello to some people, and then we'll.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So have you seen Tom Jones?
Yeah.
Are you gonna go see him? And you know, like Holly said, the energy was so infectious as well. Like, it really showed like how much people loved and still love Tom Jones. Like, we went to the bathroom right before we went into the ramen, and this lady was in front of me, and she was like, "Have you seen Tom Jones before?" And she's like, "I've seen him 4 times." She was like so excited, and I was like, "This is so great!
I know, it's
so great. It's just so cool, to see that like Tom is still killing it, and he's still drawing crowds like that and everything. And again, it also makes me sentimental and emotional. It makes me think about Elvis and how he always said, you know, will anybody remember me? Will I be remembered? And I'm like, yes. So anyway, let's see.
Yes, let's see. I'm seeing some good comments, y'all.
Let me try to get them here.
I'm loving your guesses so far. This is hilarious.
Let's see. Oh my God, Villa, I love your guess.
I love
everybody's guess. Oh my gosh, you all, that is hilarious. I wish.
Oh,
I wish
Lord.
that's who it was. Hello, Norma. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Sarah. Angelique. Hello. Let's see.
I think I just saw a comment. Jane has a great comment. She said if Elvis were still alive and that old, she thinks he'd be doing mainly gospel music.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
yeah,
I think you're right. I think he would have probably just
absolutely transition. Like, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that is a great comment.
Let's see.
Somebody else also said they think Tom had both hips replaced. I think I just saw that comment from guy.
I mean, I don't doubt it. Again, go back and watch some videos of Tom. He was tearing it up on the dance floor. I mean, tearing it up.
I know.
And, you know, yeah, and that's the thing, but he looked great. You know, not only did he sound great, he looked great. I mean, yes, did he walk a little slower? Did he move a little slower and more cautious? Yes. But again, people, almost 85 years old.
Teresa's on here. Teresa, she said she about died when he sang Kiss.
It was so good. It was so good.
Y'all, we had the best time with Teresa. We went to this swanky restaurant beforehand and then walked in the rain because we didn't know it was going to rain. And I was like, thank God I don't have a meet and greet with Tom Jones because my hair walking from the restaurant to the ramen, I look like a drowned rat. Teresa kept saying, well, we look like little drowned pussycats. And I'm like, yes, we do.
Yes. Oh, really, David? That's interesting. So he says, thank you for all the Tom videos and photos. He saw Tom in the 70s and 80s. I'm jealous. He says he was terrific. And then he says Ginger was having dinner at Sinatra's last night too.
Ginger
like,
who?
Like Ginger Alden?
What?
Like Ginger
That
Alden?
is creepy.
Wow.
What is going on? I can't believe you with your Elvis spidey sense.
Well, I will say that
I can't
like
believe you
we
didn't see
just like got reservations like last minute, and Holly and I love charcuterie, and they had like a little happy hour, but you had to sit at the bar top, and we really wanted the cheese plate half price, so we literally just sat on the very end of the bar and like just, you know, quickly like ate and everything, and then got to the show. So I didn't really like walk around or notice like anybody else.
She's over here asking the bartender, do you know who Elvis Presley is? Because he was younger, and he's like, yes, I do. And she's like, are there any pictures? Which I can't believe.
Yeah.
In Sinatra's, they've got him with everybody else, but they don't have a photo of Frank and Elvis during the Timex special. It's nuts. I mean, they've got him with Sammy and Dean and some other people, and I'm like, where?
Yeah,
Y'all,
they did. Yeah, because I
step it
took some photos, which I also posted, because I really thought the bathroom was cool. I know a lot of you love that as well. It very reminded me of very Elvis-esque because it was like a gold sink, and even the like hand dryer was gold. I was like, this is very cool. But yeah, they had a lot of pictures up, but I couldn't find any, like, because you had to go upstairs to go to the bathroom, and it was like down this hallway, and they had all these pictures. And then like where we were sitting on the wall, they had all these pictures of like Frank and, you know, Sammy and Dean. But yeah, I like didn't walk all the way back to the restaurant, and so I wanted to know because I was like, oh, I have to take a picture.
Oh,
There's an Elvis and Frank picture. I have to take that and post it. But yeah, the bartender was like, no, there's not one. And I almost wanted to be like, would you like me to bring you one? Because there should be.
So
let's see.
So funny.
Yeah, Jane says there are a lot of younger generations getting into the older songs and entertainment.
Good.
As they should. Yeah, because that's like the best.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just like, goodness gracious. Yeah, I think check out wherever you are, because I think, yeah, Tom is like doing quite a few appearances throughout, you know, different parts of the country.
And I'm about to make a PSA announcement because I'm going to have to go in here and block them. Y'all, there's all sorts of scammers and spammers and weirdo people that get on Facebook and they try to act like all night last night and this morning, I've been blocking people that are like, hi, I'm Tom Jones. Join my private fan club. Hi, we're the cybersecurity for Tom Jones. Join this link. People, these are scammers. So do not click on any links of somebody saying they are the person or they work for the person or they can get you in touch with the person. It's a scam. That's my PSA.
Hello, Gail. She says she's just tuning in from Ontario, Canada.
Aww.
She's surprised to see us on a Thursday. I know, you never know with us where we're going to be and when we're going to be popping up. She asked if either of us got any memorabilia of Tom Jones. No, that was the sad thing, is like they really didn't have anything. They did, because Nashville's known for hatch prints. I'm sure you guys have seen those. Like they have them like of Elvis and everything. Like back in the day, whenever Elvis or Hank Williams or whoever was performing anywhere, they would make these like little posters that would have like their names and the dates and the location and stuff, and they call them hatch prints, hatch show prints. And they had one of those there for the show last night. We wanted one, but it was cash only. And Holly and I didn't bring any cash.
I forgot to bring cash.
Yeah, we didn't bring any cash. And so they only had that, but I was hoping that they would have t-shirts, because now I want a Tom Jones t-shirt. And there were so many people there that had like vintage Tom Jones t-shirts and stuff. And I was really jealous because I was
I'm getting one.
Yeah. I was like,
no,
no,
I'm getting one. You're going to see it on Everything Elvis Sunday one day.
Yeah.
Teresa did though. She was smart and she got it. So I'm like, I'm going to have to start bringing my cash and getting myself ready for all this.
Thank you, Tisa. Holly and I were just talking about the frogs this morning. No frogs so far. We've been diligent about checking the bathroom, but I tell you what, all this rain we've had this week, and especially yesterday and today, I'm a little nervous that it's going to wash those little boogers down the pipes. So we'll let you know.
I've got everything sealed up, so I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. And I will tell you all, another thing that Holly and I were laughing about, because again, we tie everything like back to Elvis. Elvis is like always there. But as we were watching Tom last night, he of course had a full live band and they were great. They were really good. But he also had like graphic screens behind him, like a lot of people do and whatever. And like sometimes they would put like, him like
on the big screen.
Yeah. And then they would just have like these weird images and things.
Very psychedelic, very 60s.
Going on the screens and stuff. But Holly and I both thought the same thing, and we said it like at the same time at the end. We were like, number one, Tom really needs to like work on his graphics. He needs to get like better graphics, because he should have like old footage of like him on those screens and stuff. Cause it would be so cool when he's doing like, it's not unusual to have him like back in the day, like, dancing and stuff. So have like young old Tom on the screens and stuff would be really cool. And then we were talking about, we love going to the Elvis tribute artist shows, like especially Dean Z and Cody Dayanath, and because they do such a phenomenal job with their videos and their graphics.
I think we're spoiled.
Yeah, and their images and the way they, put images of Elvis and the videos and stuff in the background of their shows and things. That's so cool and so entertaining and such a great aspect of the shows, and create such moments in the shows. And Holly and I were like, they need to call Dean Z or Cody or Alex Mitchell and be like, Tom needs to be like, hey, can you guys come put me together like a graphics video package montage of stuff that goes behind me.
Yeah, because I'm telling you what, I think we're spoiled. Theirs are so fantastic.
Yeah.
Theirs were so fantastic. So I was like, I don't know.
Let's see.
All right, so everybody's guessed. And here's my top favorite guesses. Everybody has to guess Heather was sitting by Dean Z, or somebody said the silhouette of Elvis. Which y'all,
this is amazing. If I had been sitting by Dean Z, I would have kidnapped him.
If she had been sitting by the spirit of Elvis, I would have Facebook Live the paranormal all night for y'all.
He might have been in the building last night. I don't know.
All right, tell him, Heather.
I don't know, but yes. No, it was T.G. Shepherd
and his wife.
T.G. Shepherd and his wife Kelly.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was so weird because like literally when we walked into the Ryman, Holly was like, "Oh, hey, there's T.G. Shepherd's wife, Kelly," and then I was like, "Oh, well, he's got to be here as well." And then lo and behold, y'all walk in, sit down on the pew, and like I said, I was on one, and then Holly was in front of me, and I'm literally texting Holly, and I was like, "I'm glad I'm sitting beside T.G. Shepherd."
Do y'all ever do that when you're in the same room but you don't want to say anything out loud, so you just text it?
Yeah, yeah, but it was so like crazy because I was like, this is so weird.
I know.
Because like T.G. Shepherd, I'm sure a lot of you know who T.G. Shepherd is. I mean, he's like was a really big like I guess 80s, kind of 70s, 80s was more his like time
country singing,
of like country and stuff. And what was the like one really big song he had that I really liked? I
Loved Him Every One.
Maybe I can't think of it right now, but anyway, he actually met Elvis and knew Elvis, and they got to be friends. And Elvis was very much kind of almost a mentor to TG in the early beginnings of his career and stuff. And Elvis, he says, is the one that kind of gave TG his name. Like it means the Good Shepherd, T.G. Shepherd, is what it means. And it also, Elvis got T.G. or gave T.G. his first tour bus.
Yeah.
So
craziness.
Again, it's that whole 6 degrees. It's that like inner Elvis world.
And before you ask,
and it's like his influence of, you know, how much Elvis touched and still touches everyone, and his reach of his influence.
But before you ask, no, we didn't talk to him. No, Heather didn't get a picture.
I was going to, because I thought that Tom might do an intermission. Because literally we just walked in the theater in time to literally like sit down, and then the show kind of like began and everything. And so I was like, oh, I hope there'll be an intermission. And then I was going to like say something, you know, and then there never was.
Well, and I always hate to bother people.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, well, he's there to enjoy the show, and he's probably a big Tom Jones fan. So it's like, I don't know. You know, I get nervous about stuff like that.
Yes. But it was really cool.
Yeah, he probably would have loved it. I don't know. He probably would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was really cool. Because, yeah, I was wearing my Elvis bracelet. So, you know.
So who knows?
Anyway, but I thought that was really cool and interesting. I was like, of all the people in this theater right now.
Sold out show, and they're going to sit by Heather. It was weird.
I know. It's Elvis. I'm telling you.
So enough about Tom Jones. We have spilled our guts about Tom Jones.
Oh, show your books real quick.
Oh, here's my books.
Because these are cool.
These are cool. So, y'all, I got these on eBay. Look at this one. The World of Tom Jones. And then look on the back. I don't think it's real. I wish it was, but it says Best Wishes, Tom Jones. But I'm like, does anybody have this program book? Is this just on mine, maybe? Or is this just like a copy? Does that look, because it kind of looks real, but then it kind of looks like a copy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, I love that one. Look at this one.
I think they're all copies because it looks like they're all
okay,
signed.
Please look at the dapperness of this. But hold on. Look the back.
Amazing.
Mr. Sexy himself. Check it out. Love it. And then here's my third one. Y'all can see I paid $2. It's red.
These are so cool.
And look at this. Ooh. So now guess who's back on her Tom Jones hop? Guess who's going to be on eBay trying to find some Tom Jones souvenir books? Right here.
And a t-shirt.
And a t-shirt. Yeah, I've got to have a t-shirt now. I've got to have one. But yeah, here, that's my collection. I only have 3. But, you know, it's going to grow because I'm on the bandwagon again. I'm on the lookout. So, yes, I'm very excited about this. Maybe I should probably frame one of these and put it up on the wall. That'd be cute. So, yeah, that's my tour books that I've been collecting.
Yes.
Next, so it's in the Elvis world, y'all. It's big news. Everybody's been talking about it. Everyone's been speculating. We want to know your thoughts on it. It's been rumored for the last couple of years. Priscilla was doing another book. And it's kind of in that vein of, you know, Loretta Lynn did her famous Coal Miner's Daughter book as Priscilla did the Elvis and Me. And then Loretta, because she had such a long life and it was nonstop action and, you know, interesting from daylight, you know, the first day to the end, she wrote a second book called Still Woman Enough. So I think this is Priscilla's kind of added, like, here's my second part of my life. Because Elvis and Me really only focused on her up until she left Elvis, right?
It was literally just her. It was just her with Elvis, and then it kind of ended like
kind of ended. And you know, she had a storied career in life after that. So get all the info out on it. Yeah, the title. I don't know if this is a mock-up or if this is legit, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think this is it because whenever I've looked, because you can pre-order right now. I don't think the book is officially coming out until September, but you can go ahead and pre-order right now. But yes, it is her brand new memoir, and it's called Softly As I Leave You, which I thought was very interesting because, you know, we all know that recitation, I guess you would say. So, you know, I'm sure you all have heard, like, you know, when Elvis was in concert and stuff, and he had Cheryl Neal, who was one of like the background singers and stuff, who has a great voice. But Elvis would do like a recitation of this, you know, Softly As I Leave You, and then Cheryl would sing it. So I'm like, is that where she got the like idea or whatever? But a very appropriate title, Softly As I Leave You, Life After Elvis. And then this apparently is what the cover looks like, which I also found interesting. So it's, you know, Priscilla, 1982, in front of Graceland, when they opened Graceland to the public.
Oh, well, I didn't know it's from 82. Wow.
I'm pretty sure because I think that's
cool.
the picture. I think that's the picture of her. You know, you see the picture when she's like speaking and they do like the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
That looks like that.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
picture in that time frame and everything.
That's perfect.
But yeah, so apparently this whole memoir is supposed to kind of, I guess, pick up where the Elvis and Me left off and focus more on after Elvis died and then all the way up until now. Like, I think it addresses like Lisa Marie's passing, Ben's passing, her mother's passing, all of that kind of stuff. So I know there's been lots said already about it and mixed emotions and reviews, as there always is with Priscilla, because as we always say, there's definitely a love-hate with Priscilla. And I don't really feel like there's any in between. Either people are in the love camp or the people are in the hater camp. So it's very interesting, but you know, yeah, we've been hearing about her doing another book or another memoir, and I guess we all figured she would.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we kind of figured that she would, and then everything kind of really ramped up, which I think also got people talking, really ramped up, you know, once the Lisa Marie book started being more talked about and that Riley was going to finish it and that it was going to be coming out. Then we started hearing more about, you know, oh, well, Priscilla also has another book and it's going to be coming out, but then there was a lot of rumors about, you know, she's going to release it after and she's going to wait to see what Lisa's book says and all that and everything. So who's to say, who knows, you know, this literally could have been, you know, something she's been working on for a decade or, you know, more. And she, you know, whatever.
Yeah. And well, I think the time frame for her is, I think it could be this. She may have been like, you know how you're kicking around an idea and you're like, someday I'm going to get to that, or someday I'm going to do that. But then it's like, she's getting older. She's no spring chicken. And you see all this loss, like her mom's died. Lisa died so suddenly. So I think in her mind, she's probably like, I better do it now because I could be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm interested in to hear. I want to hear her side of the last year or so of Elvis's life. And I really, really want to hear about her process of how she got Graceland up and running. That's what I'm most excited about. Well, that and maybe her years in Dallas. Because I want to know all about the cast of Dallas as well and her experience there. But I'm mostly interested on all the details of how Graceland became to be open, and she was a part of that. And you know, she and Vernon worked together on it. She and the Colonel had a little bit of, you know, work together on it. So I'm really interested in that part of it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what I'm most interested in as well.
Yeah.
Is like, kind of post Elvis, like, you know, what happened in those first, especially those first few years.
Yeah. Because I think she struggled because, you know, it's like you always think she was so sheltered and so in his world, you know, and his world is not like anyone else's world. So I think it was almost being like pushed out into the real world and being like, oh my gosh, this is the real world. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
So, and she had some successes and failures. You know, she had that boutique and that clothing line that I think was a success at first. And then I think it kind of failed. And then, you know, I'm sure she struggled with the acting. And it'll be interesting too to hear a little bit more about her adult relationship with Lisa, because when she wrote Elvis and Me, Lisa was still so young. It'll be interesting to hear her side of things. You know, so we'll see.
Yeah, that I think will be interesting, and to see how much she does delve into all of that. You know, like how much does she and you know, kind of we read and found out a lot of things in Lisa Marie's book. About her and Priscilla and their dynamic and their relationship and some things I don't think any of us knew, and were very shocked and surprised about. And so I think it'll be interesting to see what Priscilla says
if she addresses it.
If she addresses it, kind of what she says about it. And just to hear about her, you know, relationships like post Elvis and stuff. And kind of how she did go from Elvis's world into her own. And that's kind of pretty much what this whole memoir says, you know, it's about. Is it's, you know, about her literally going from Elvis to a whole new world and everything. But I think, like Holly said, it'll be interesting to also hear all the stuff about, like, you know, Graceland and the opening of it and everything. And again, I know there's a lot of haters and naysayers out there, and people are like, you know, oh, she's just greedy and she just, you know, lives off of Elvis and she just did, you know, open Graceland for the money or whatever. Well, yeah. You know, but again, I always say that I am very thankful for whatever, you know, like, whatever reason, I am thankful that she preserved Graceland
Mhm.
and that she opened it to the public and that it still exists all these years
Mhm.
after, that we still get to go see and enjoy and be a part of. And, you know, I mean, I'm sure in a lot of ways she did do it for the money. I mean, she did it for Lisa Marie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when Elvis died, there wasn't a lot left.
No.
There wasn't a lot left
No.
financially and stuff. And Lisa was still so young. And so trying to figure out, you know, how to secure her future so that, you know, not only did Lisa have money, but that she still had a part of Elvis.
Right.
And she still had that legacy and stuff.
Because that was Lisa Marie's prized possession was Graceland.
Yes.
Mhm.
So trying to figure out how to preserve that for Lisa, if it meant, making money.
Well, I mean, you have to think about it. She does get demonized quite a bit because pretty much y'all, everybody in the Elvis world has made a few dollars off of him. I mean, let's be real. Let's get real. Everybody in that mafia, you know, does the conventions, writes a book, goes on tour talking about Elvis, goes to a Comic-Con, whatever. And I mean, nobody really says too much about them. So I don't get the, you know, the hate on her that much, but we'll see.
I mean, I think, you know, at that point in time, she did what she had to do and what was necessary, you know, and thank goodness, you know, Vernon kind of gave her control and everything of Graceland and to do that, because who knows, I think Vernon probably would have sold it.
Oh yeah, I think he would have sold it.
I think he would have just sold it, and then who knows, somebody could have just completely tore it down or.
But and you know what, y'all, she may be a demon in real life and we don't know it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not going to judge. Yeah. I don't know her. I wasn't there. You know, walk a mile in my shoes, as Elvis would say. So, and if that's the case, karma will get you. So,
truth. But I mean, it's still nonetheless.
But I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, and we're gonna read it because I know there was also a lot of people being like, "I'm not buying. I'm not giving her one more penny. I'm not reading this book." Well, I want to read it. I want to see what she has to say. Yep. I want to see, you know, what she has to say about Elvis and Lisa and everything, you know, post Elvis and stuff. And so I think it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, because, you know, I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm kind of interested in this Peter Guralnick book that I'm reading. I'm real interested to hear.
Oh, when he gets to Priscilla.
I'm real interested about that because I'm still, y'all, I'm hours in, but I'm still only up to when the Colonel has taken over Elvis's career.
Well, also, I kind of hope that Priscilla might address a little bit of that. I would like to kind of hear what, you know, she has to say about the Colonel.
You know, she loves him from what I can tell.
Yeah.
She thought he was great. Even though they sued each other and all that, she still, I think, had a pleasant relationship.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think it'll be interesting because that was a very weird time, you know, after Elvis passed in '77, because you've got so many players.
And they all had a weird relationship with him.
But you've got like, so many players involved at that time. You got like Vernon, and you got still the Colonel, and, you know, you got Priscilla being Lisa's mother and everything. And so it's kind of like all those different moving parts and how everybody kind of like dealt with the death and what's next and everything. So I hope she kind of like addresses and talks about all of that, because that was one of the things also about the, you know, Priscilla movie that came out with Sofia Coppola, is that, you know, it just kind of like cut off.
I know.
Like when Elvis died.
I know. I did not like that.
You know, that was one of the things that Holly and I were like, oh, you know, we kind of wanted to like it to delve in a little bit more like after Elvis, like Priscilla after Elvis and her life then. So hopefully I think that's what this memoir and this book is going to do. So
here's hoping.
So I'm sure we'll be talking about this more in the coming like weeks and months and stuff. I got to get online and order our copies.
I want an autographed one.
Yeah. There's apparently, you can get an autographed one. But yeah, so what do you all think? What do you think about the Priscilla book? Are you going to read it? Are you going to read it? Are you boycotting it? What do you?
And that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah. What do you want to most hear about, or what do you hope she addresses or talks about in the book? Yeah, I think it's very interesting.
Sorry, I'm over here blocking fake Tom Jones pages.
I keep seeing it pop up.
Off the off the Facebook. Oh, Lord.
Let's see.
I know. Speaking of Facebook, y'all, we got some devastating news, and Heather is beside herself. So Facebook has started this new thing, and they didn't notify me in time. They're starting to take down, after 30 days, they take down all your live videos. Which, I mean, they can take down these. We don't care. But, like, you know, I did my live of Dean Z when he gave Heather her scarf and her kiss and everything, and it's gone. Because Facebook, without even, like, letting me know, they're starting to erase stuff. So we are frantically now trying to download everything that's live on the Facebook page, and then I'm gonna put it up on YouTube, which is good because it can be cataloged there, and that way, if there's something in particular you want to go see, you don't have to like scroll through the Facebook. You can just go straight to our YouTube channel. But Heather lost it, so if anybody out there, this is another public service announcement.
Yes.
If you shared that video of Dean at the Nashville Elvis Festival doing his concert, if you shared that and it is still on your page, please let me know, because I will try to download it from your page, or try to download it and you can send it to me. Because she is devastated.
Yeah.
But that just lets us know everything is so frugal and weird and flippant in the social media world. We're going to try to really get everything over to YouTube and keep it downloaded to where we don't lose all this stuff. Because we almost lost. We had our live with Link and Tom that we posted, and thank God it had not been taken down yet. So we got to, I made sure to download that and everything, because I would have been crushed if we had not had that. But since he died, so let me know, y'all. But yes, Facebook is starting to take down. So from here on out, if you want to watch it live, you better watch it within 30 days, because they're going to take it down.
Yeah. Or download it.
Not cool.
Yeah, not cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Priscilla memoir, that was big news. That was big news this week. And again, can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait to read it. Can't wait to see what all it says.
Yeah.
And, I see a lot of people being like, it'll be interesting to see if she tells the truth or whatever. I feel like there's always two sides to every story, and somewhere in the middle lies the truth. And I feel like reading these memoirs or books, you're never going to really get the full, because everybody has their own like perception of how things happened or how it went down. And I also feel like, over the years, I feel like people's stories change.
Well, because your memories of things change.
I feel like
the way you felt about it changes.
Yes.
And that's in all of us.
So you never really know.
Yeah.
You don't. You never really know.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then moving on to sadder news. We were devastated this week because we lost some great people in the Elvis world. First and foremost, Wink Martindale.
So sad.
So sad. But Holly and I were so happy that we had the opportunity we did. So as you guys know, and especially if you follow us on our Elvis journeys at birthday week and Elvis week, we were so elated last birthday. So 2024, January 2024, Wink was a special guest for Elvis's birthday celebration. And it was so nice to get to hear him talk. He did conversations with Tom and, talked about his memories and recollections of Elvis. He had his book there.
Yeah.
Winking at life. Holly and I were fortunate enough to get a copy, and he autographed it for us, and we got to say a little something to him and got our picture made with him. And then he was also at the proclamation, and it was so cool because that's when, Graceland and EP had recently acquired the original acetate of That's All Right Mama that was played on that historical day.
Yeah.
In the studio with Dewey Phillips, and they acquired it and they played it at the proclamation that morning, and they let Wink drop the needle. Well, and so fitting for him to do that, because that's like the sad thing too. And I was listening to the Graceland Beat, and Argo played his interview that he had done with Wink from when he was at birthday celebration, and Wink was saying that he was the last living member that was in the radio studio that day that Sam Phillips brought the acetate of That's All Right Mama. Dewey Phillips played it. It got such an overwhelming reaction that he played it 14 times in a row. Wink made the phone call to Gladys and Vernon and said, "Hey, where's Elvis? His record is a hit. Get him down here. They want to talk to him." And they went to the movie theater where Elvis was nervously sitting and watching movies because he was so nervous about them playing his record for the first time on air, and got him down to the radio station. And it just so happens that Wink, he worked at WHBQ because he's from Jackson, but moved to Memphis, and that's where he got his radio start. He worked at the radio station as a disc jockey, and he was off that day, but he just so happened to be at the radio station showing some friends around, and heard the commotion and was like, "What's going on?" And then, they're telling him, and then they get Elvis down there. And so he was the last living member that was in the station that day when the face of music was changed forever.
Yeah. So that, and it's just so weird because I was just thinking about that. I was like, I remember what he was saying, and we were even talking about it. Me and Heather were like, gosh, there's only one person left, and now there's no one.
Yeah. And just what a great human being.
Just seemed like a ball of sunshine.
Yeah, just so sweet and everything. And that was another thing he was saying because I remember Wink Martindale from game show reruns. As you all know, I have an obsession with game shows. I think I get it from my maternal grandmother. And I love game shows, and I still to this day watch them. And I loved watching reruns of like old game shows and stuff. And I remember when I would be getting ready for like school when I was little, there would be like tic-tac-toe.
Forgot about tic-tac-toe.
And it was Wink Martindale was the host of it. And he was so great. And Wink had such an iconic voice.
Oh, he did.
And what was interesting about that, speaking of Tom Jones and his voice, is when Wink was doing this interview with Argo back in January. Argo was mentioning like what a great voice he had and how like iconic it is. And Wink was like, well, that's the thing. He was like, most of the time when people get old and they age, he was like, your voice gets really weird and odd. And he was like, my voice, literally, he was like, my voice right now, he's like, you could play a recording of me like back in the 50s and splice in me talking today. And he was like, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. He was like, I've just never lost my voice.
That's
and
crazy.
He didn't. His voice was so great. But we're just so thrilled that we got those special moments with him. Again, that's what it's all about, getting these people to Elvis week and birthday week. But it's so great we got to see that. And of course, because he is an icon and a legend in radio and TV, they presented him with the note. The music note on Bill Street, which he also said was such a huge honor.
I'm so glad he got to enjoy it. So glad they gave it to him when he could still enjoy it.
Yeah. So, Wink, like major player in the Elvis,
just
world.
in Hollywood, in the world of entertainment. I mean, so that was a sad one because I mean, like I say, he was older when we saw him, but I mean, he seemed like he was just in fantastic shape,
and he was,
which is great. That's all we can ask for. I mean, hopefully he just died one day, but he to me seemed in great health. There was no long illness I don't know of.
I think they said that he did. Like, I think the odd thing about it was he was in such great like mental and physical and like everything condition when we saw him. But I think they said shortly after that he got diagnosed with lymphoma. And so they said he'd been battling that for the last year.
Okay. But at least it wasn't like he struggled for years.
Exactly.
So. But a life well lived.
Yes. So a long life and a beautiful life and stuff. But yes, and then also we were so saddened to hear of the passing of David Briggs.
I know, y'all.
Yeah. Again, one of those, musicians tied to Elvis and everything. And I know a lot of you are familiar with, David Briggs. He was actually from Alabama, which I didn't know, but from Alabama. But he was very instrumental in a lot of Elvis's recordings and stuff. He played with Elvis, toured with Elvis, in the 70s, all the way up to the end. A lot of you know him from the song Love Letters. He played on that. He played on the How Great Thou Art album.
Classic.
I think they said that actually he was in the studio that day and Floyd Kramer was running late. So David just kind of like stepped in and like played or whatever. But he's also a big part of the Nashville Marathon sessions. So, that kind of ties back to Holly and I with Nashville and everything. And, he's kind of one of they call the Nashville Cats.
Yeah.
So he played on, all those great sessions and great songs and everything. And again, Holly and I were very fortunate here several years ago. We took the opportunity to do a thing that Graceland offered, kind of how they offer the special like tours and things. It was called the Jungle Room Sessions. Yep. And they literally had Larry Strickland, James Burton, David Briggs, and they brought them into the Jungle Room, where Elvis did his Moody Blue recordings. And we were like up on the little riser thing and just got to hear Tom and Angie, talk to them and interview them and them tell like, stories and recollections of, being with Elvis and recording and everything. And we have like a picture with all of them in the Jungle Room. So I'm so glad that we have that memory and that moment as well. That was a tough one as well. Elvis family and Elvis circle getting a little smaller every single day.
I know. And then there was a third person comment, if you know, but there was a third person this week that died in the Elvis world. So I'm telling you what, y'all, sad for the Elvis world.
Yeah. You just never know.
You don't. That's why we always say, if you can afford it or if they're close by, go see these people because they're not going to be around forever.
And when you go to like Elvis week and birthday, a lot of times you all will reach out to Holly and I, message us and say, I can't necessarily like do a package or, but what events and things should I go to? If the conversations, sometimes they're package exclusive only.
Yeah.
But if there's ever like a conversations or an event like that that's offered separately, always go to it.
Yeah.
Because, there was here several years ago that Mac Davis was at Elvis Week and he did a conversations. And I think that was a year that Holly and I didn't do a package and we didn't go. And then, of course, he passed away and we were kicking ourselves.
I still am kicking myself.
Yeah.
So
because it's just great to hear from these people.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun too. Like we just saw where John Daly met Anne Margaret. Sometimes it's not Elvis Week related. A lot of times, the big thing now is like I call them Comic Cons, but they have like some people call them TV cons. It's a lot of like retro or like really popular shows. Like Heather and I, me and my Walking Dead obsession. I used to go to all the Walking Dead Comic Cons because you can meet the cast and listen to panels they do. It's almost like a little mini weekend. But there's so many of these stars like Anne, like Priscilla, like the cast of Dallas and all that, and they go around to these things and they're usually pretty reasonable and they tour a lot. So Heather and I haven't got to go to any besides our Walking Dead ones, but I really, really want to go. I think they have a Dallas one.
Yeah,
it might be in Texas, but I'd go because I want to see South Fork. But yeah, so we're hoping, like Priscilla, I think she's actually going to be in Kentucky here in a few weeks. I wish we could go. I think she's going to be in
Bristol as well.
Yeah. So all these people, you don't necessarily have to meet them at Elvis Week. Keep an eye out on their schedules and stuff. And like I say, we'll always try. It's just there's so many and it's so hard to keep track. But we'll try to keep you informed of that as well.
Another like little cute story too that I was going to share because I know a lot of you don't have Sirius Radio. Oh no,
my battery died.
A lot of you don't have Sirius Radio, and so you don't have Elvis Radio. But I live for it.
Yes.
And I love the Graceland Beat and Argo and everything. But a really cool story that I thought spoke volumes to Elvis as well. And we always hear like everybody loved Elvis because he was like such a great human. Like he was such a kind, generous, giving, really humble. Like Elvis never let the fame get to him.
Yeah.
He never thought that he was like a god or he was the greatest thing ever. But Wink told a story on Argo's interview where, him and Elvis became friends. After that night in the studio, he said they got to like talk and like they became friends and they, kept in touch and everything. But, Wink went on to have apparently in the 50s his own show called Dance Party.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I've heard of it.
Yeah. So he had his own show called Dance Party in like the 50s. And he said that, he was really trying to, get it going and get it started. And
whatever. Because I bet he's competing with Dick Clark in American Bandstand. Wouldn't you think?
I don't know because I don't know when American Bandstand was.
It was the 50s, wasn't it?
Maybe. I think it was. I don't know. But anyway, so he was doing the show in 56. And at this point, Elvis was huge. This was when, he took off and was just huge. And so Wink said that Elvis came on his show, The Dance Party, came on his show in 56 to do an interview to like help Wink, like boost his like ratings or whatever. And the thing is they didn't tell Colonel Tom. Elvis just did it because Wink talked about how like Colonel was very like controlling. He was like Colonel had his hand in everything. He was like Elvis did not do an appearance or anything that Colonel Tom did not negotiate, get a contract, get money for it. Like Elvis didn't do free stuff, but he was like, Elvis and I were friends and he was like, we knew each other. And he's like, so Elvis was like, yeah, I'll come on this show and do it. And he was like, it's really, I want to go back and find it because Wink said it was actually probably one of the best interviews like Elvis has ever done because even though like quality and stuff was different back then, it was still like such good quality because it wasn't like Elvis on stage and it wasn't like girls screaming and whatever. So it's really good quality and stuff. But yeah, he said that like Elvis came on and did it and he said they didn't even tell Colonel and he said that Colonel didn't find out for like a while after that until after whatever. And he said that Colonel never spoke to Wink again. He got so mad about that and he got so angry that like Wink got Elvis to do that and got Elvis on his show and everything that he was like, he never spoke to me again. And I was like,
but it was Elvis.
Like Colonel.
Elvis can do whatever he wants. He's Elvis. Like, I'll tell you.
But I thought that was so great that Elvis was like, because I'm sure at that time, Elvis like kind of like knew how the Colonel was. And he was probably like, trying to get his career going too and was a little like trepidatious to like maybe cross the Colonel or like think like Elvis is
Right.
going to tick him off, but there's also that rebellious side of Elvis and also that like friend side of Elvis where he's loyal and you know Elvis is like, I'm going to do this.
Well, and he probably knew. I mean, Elvis probably did it on purpose, not telling the Colonel, because the Colonel would have negotiated a huge amount, and probably poor old the network and poor old Wink didn't have it, and like he would have never been able to get Elvis. So, you know, just another charitable part, you know, on Elvis thinking like, I don't want to charge you for my appearance and stuff. But I'm telling you what, this Peter book,
like, look, yeah, there's apparently like a video of it. I'm gonna go back and look.
Yeah,
and watch
we'll
it.
try to post it if we can.
But like, look how cute Elvis looks. Like him and Wink both. They're so young, and Elvis is just so like before all the craziness. You know, little did that little Elvis know what he was getting into.
I know. Speaking of the Colonel, I'm excited about this new book coming out because Peter in this first book with Elvis that I'm reading is diving in pretty good to the Colonel. And I'm telling you, he was a very polarizing figure, but I'm going to tell you what, he had no like book smarts. Like he didn't go to college. Like no one even knows really if he went to high school. Because, you know, really no one knows much about the Colonel, but his sense of business that he learned just from being a carny was so amazing. And like they said, the deals he could make were just unfathomable at that point in time. Like he pretty much, I would think if you are wanting to get into the A&R business or the management business or producing or anything to do with music, marketing, advertising, you would study the Colonel, because evidently as Elvis was the trailblazer for music, Colonel was the trailblazer for the music industry business side of it. So I'm real excited, y'all, for this book that's coming out. That
so many books coming out. I have no time.
I
have no time to read.
I'm still on my Audible.
I'm like,
oh Lord, I should just.
I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna find the time.
You're gonna have to put headphones on before you go to bed and just subconsciously in your sleep hope that you get the message.
Absorb it. I know, for real. So let's show you our goodies that we got this week, and then we'll definitely look at some comments and questions because I see a lot of you.
I'm gonna keep this brief because I know we've been on here. So, one of our Elvis besties, Andrea, we love you so much. She sent us a little Christmas in April, and she was like, she told me, she's like, I'm gonna send you something, and it's your Christmas present early. So we're so excited.
And a huge shout out to Andrea, period, because she's been an Elvis bestie.
She's an OG.
For a long time, and she has just always over the years been so generous and so kind to think of Holly and I, and you know, send us little things and everything. So it is so appreciated.
Yes,
so appreciated.
Yes, very appreciated. But y'all, look at this cute keychain she got.
So cool.
It's so cool. And it's not only a keychain.
It's like a wristlet.
It's a wristlet. And you can put your keychain or your purse or something on it. And I was cracking up because she sent us the package. And it had these two big items that we're about to show you. This was wrapped up in bubble wrap. And I didn't know it. I thought it was just like padding. And like I messaged her to thank her for the present. And she goes, what about the keychain? And I'm like, keychain? So I raced down this morning. I just got the message this morning, and raced down. I was like, Heather.
So from now on, we will be like looking through every.
From here on out, I'm gonna have to like throw out all the bubble wrap and stuff. But isn't this cute, y'all? I don't think I've ever seen one, and I love it because you can put your keys on it. You can like hook it to stuff because I'm a big hooker. Like that didn't come out right. I love to attach things with a hook. Like my car keys, that's how I attach it to my purse or my belt buckle or anything like that.
If Carol's still on here, she is dying at that comment.
Yes, she is.
But yes, and then look what else she sent us. So, you know, I love my Christmas and my Christmas ornaments. So look who's going to be proudly displayed at Christmas this year. And she sent Holly and I each one.
Yes.
So they're matching. So we'll have flanking Elvis nutcrackers. But so cute. Let's see. I could probably take it out of the box real quick. But these are so cool. It's a Christmas nutcracker, Elvis Presley. Yes. And it's got...
he's got his little rhinestones in his cape and his little microphone. So yeah, he is. I wonder if mine is. Get that off. Hold on, let me open mine. But these are so cute.
Here we go. So look how adorable this is.
Oh my gosh.
So it says Elvis on the little stand, and then he's all bejeweled and bedazzled in his red and gold. Got his little cape on with his Santa hat.
How cute is that?
And then I even love the nod too. He's got a teddy bear. And then his microphone. How cute are these? So adorable. I love this. And this is going to go great because, I know a lot of people like collect nutcrackers and are like crazy about them. Holly and I don't do that, but I will say that years ago, Holly and I bought 2 nutcrackers because we thought they looked like us. One is blonde and one is dark headed, and they literally are always on our mantle every year. And we're like, it's Holly and Heather.
Oh, now they have a date.
Oh my gosh, they do.
We can put us by Elvis.
But
on either
thank
side.
you, Andrea. These are great.
Yes.
And then, as we told you, yes, you know, the thing about Holly and I and our obsession, especially mine with Elvis and Elvis items, is that literally that's where a lot of my collection has come from, or where it started. Because when I was like little and stuff, that's what people would get me for gifts. People would get me birthday gifts and Christmas gifts, and they would be Elvis themed.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I graduated high school and college, I got Elvis and I Love Lucy stuff because I was also, and still am, really into Lucille Ball. I love her and I Love Lucy. So I would always get those gifts and things. And then as the years have gone by, now Holly and I literally are the first call from all friends and family members that have any kind of Elvis items that they've either been given or that they've seen or whatever. We're their first call. And so, yes, this week has been hilarious because our dad has a good high school friend, and she is moving back to Florida to be with her family. And so she's been going through her house selling stuff and cleaning out stuff.
Yeah.
And she, of course, called our Aunt Martha Lou, and then she went over there to like buy some stuff. And she was like, called Holly, and she was like, I just got back from Aleen's. She has a box of Elvis stuff. I immediately told her I thought you and Heather would be interested and want it. So let Heather know. So as soon as I got to Dad's house on Sunday, we're like, well, we're going over to Aleen's so I can see this Elvis stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought it all.
But it was a great price.
I bought it all. It was a great price. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of stuff.
She gave us like the friends and family discount.
Yes, but I just love this because, yeah, literally Dad also had a longtime friend years ago that like reached out to Holly and I, and she was like, I'm going through my house and I found this entire like boxes of like Elvis newspapers and collectibles and stuff. Would you and Heather want it? And Holly's like, yes. And so Holly and Dad went and met her, and she gave Holly like boxes full of like Elvis stuff. So yeah, anytime really cool. Like a family member passes away or they garage sale, Holly and I. But this was the first thing I got, and I was super excited because y'all know how I've been wanting, because y'all are gonna know what it is. So you know how I've been wanting a cardboard cutout of Elvis. Well, I got one now in the gold lame suit. So, and look at that, it's still in the plastic.
I know, y'all shouldn't even set it up yet.
Yeah, so this was apparently her sister's. Her sister bought this stuff and she passed away a few years ago. But yes, never even been out of the plastic. So I'm so excited about it because, you know, I have my little mini cardboard Elvis here that I got from John Daly this year that I loved. But I've been wanting a life-size stand-up one. And so this will be making an appearance probably at some point in the background. I've already told Holly that it's going to make an appearance with the Christmas tree. Yes, so now it's going to be a part of my Christmas decor. And so Elvis and his gold lame decked out for the holidays is going to be welcoming you to my Christmas tree. So that was really cool.
We're going to have to do a welcome to Heather's Christmas world.
Yes. And then here's the other like few little things that I got. So this is hilarious also. It's a box of Russell Stover's chocolates that's never been opened. I'm sure the chocolates are bad, but there's chocolates in there. But I really love this, like, because I've had some of these in the past, but I hadn't seen this particular picture.
I told her, I said, Heather, you're taking those chocolates out.
Yeah.
And then you can use it as a trinket box.
And then here's a couple of, you know, Holly and I love magnets.
Oh, those are cute.
These are cool.
Those look vintage.
I know. So these are some magnets for our refrigerator that I thought were really cool. And then it was 2 like little collectible items. So little trinket boxes that I just loved.
Oh, good. I haven't seen any of this, y'all. Heather just got in the other day from Hal, and I got a chance to look at it all. Oh.
So it's a little heart trinket box.
Cute.
And it says Heartbreak Hotel on both sides.
That
and
looks
the picture
vintage.
of Elvis.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then, yeah, you open it up.
Cute.
And let's see. What does it say? So it says Heartbreak Hotel, released January 27th, 1956, was Elvis's first platinum record, selling over 300,000 copies in the first 3 weeks of release.
Wow, what about that?
I'm going to be keeping some of my Elvis jewelry.
Oh, that's a good idea. You could keep all the bracelets.
So loved that. Here, I'll let you put that back in there.
I got it.
And then this was another little trinket box that's really cool.
Oh, wow, that's a big one.
If I can get the thing out.
We didn't think this through. We should have opened these ahead of time.
It's like an unboxing.
Thank you, unboxing.
Hey, they do that all the time on.
I know. I don't know why we don't do the Heather and Holly's in Boston.
Oh,
wow.
So
that
it kind
is
of
cool.
matches. I guess it's a little like set
Oh,
because it matches the heart. But here it is.
It's a little guitar. Adorable.
It's a guitar little
Well, I
box.
love that.
And it says Hound Dog, Don't Be Cruel, and Heartbreak Hotel, and Blue Suede Shoes. So it has those
That's gotta
song
be a
titles.
set. That's cute.
Yeah, it has those song titles. But again, it opens up.
Cute.
See, does it have anything on this side? No. It opens up. So another like little, I could keep like some of my watches in here maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great
But
idea.
yay, aren't these cool?
Yep.
More treasures.
More stuff for Heather to dust.
I know. Dad's literally like, why are you buying that? What are you going to do with it? You don't have any room left. I'm like, oh, I'll find room, Dad. I'll find room. But yeah, so those are my little treasures.
Mm-hmm.
And then, were you going to show me anything?
I was going to show you mine. It's not Elvis related, but kind of. When we were at Tom Jones, the Ryman has a real cute gift shop. And yes, they do have a bunch of Elvis stuff. And yes, I told Heather she couldn't get anything because she's already got all this stuff. But look what I got, because you know how much I love my Dolly. Look, I found the cute little golden book. You know, we had the Elvis one that a bestie sent us. And it's so cute. But look, they have a little Dolly Parton one. And I love it so much. It's like so cute. Like, look at this little picture. I was like, this should be a t-shirt.
And I did buy one Elvis item, but Holly won't let me reveal
No, you gotta wait
until Elvis week.
You gotta wait.
But it's so cool. I found it at a gift shop on Broadway.
Look how cute. Dolly just.
Speaking of, if you ever come to Nashville, and of course you got to go down Broadway because that's where all the honky tonks and stuff are, but always go into the gift shops because they always have an Elvis section.
Yeah.
And they always have some really interesting items.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't wait to share with you guys this really cool item that we found that we just stumbled upon that we're going to be sporting during Elvis week. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see some questions and comments real quick, and then we'll let you guys get on to your Thursday. It's still
pouring.
Absolutely pouring the rain here. Not happy with this rain.
Mm-mm. I'm not happy either. Well, I can't see the comments. My iPad died, so I'm just going to rely on you.
Let me click this way.
Are you looking?
Yeah, let me trying to like go back to all comments so I can kind of scroll through and see.
I know. I can't wait to see what you guys are saying about everything.
Ooh, Dennis says that Walmart has a new Elvis t-shirt that just came out this week.
Oh, wow.
I'll have to check that out. Thank
Interesting.
you. Thank you for the heads up. Linda says she has the cardboard cutout with Elvis in his tux from the Frank Sinatra show. I know. There's literally like so many of them. I mean, I love the Golden May. I'm going to say this is not probably my first choice of the cardboard cutout I would have got. Like, I love the black leather, the 68 black leather. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I love like the jumpsuit one. Mm-hmm. But that Frank Sinatra one would be cool too.
I think that might be my number one that I would walk in.
I know. Well, yeah, and that one would look really good with my Christmas stuff because you guys know I have my Graceland Light Up Village, and Holly and I won the little Elvis years ago at bingo that I put in the front. Love that.
Cute.
Let's see. That's hilarious. Gail says you can put that cardboard cutout above your bed so you can see him every night before you sleep. Hilarious.
Well, she could put it on the ceiling, but I'm like, Heather, you cannot put this up in your room or somewhere around the house because this one, it'll be dark and late at night, and I'll think there's an intruder.
Well, I would just freak out if it like came loose and fell on me during the night. I'd be like, Debbie says she has Wizard of Oz nutcrackers. That sounds cool.
I bet those are adorable. I love the Wizard of Oz too, y'all. I'm a big Judy Garland fan.
Hello, Carol. I know you'd be on here. She says that she likes that Peter Gralnick actually had a relationship with the Colonel.
Yes.
Me too, because I think it's always different when you can speak from your own account. Mm-hmm. You know, like you're getting all these different like interviews and comments and everything from people that knew him and worked with him. But when you can speak to yourself,
yeah,
I think that's good as well. Yeah, and I can't wait to read. I like your comment, Gail. She says the Colonel held Elvis back from going international. That is my biggest thing. This is the one thing I want Peter to address in this book. I want to know exactly what happened with all of that. Yeah. You know, was Colonel Tom couldn't get passports, couldn't get that, and he couldn't travel, and that's why he didn't. Like, what is the reason?
Yeah.
Like, what is the actual relationship and reason with Elvis and the whole touring internationally, and why didn't he, and What part did the Colonel play? I
Mhm.
want to know.
Me too.
And even the whole like draft thing.
Yes.
I want to know about the Army and about the draft. You know, did
Mhm.
Colonel play any part in that?
Mhm.
Oh, I know, Margaret, that was very sad. Pope Francis also passed on Easter Monday.
I know.
That was very sad
That
as
was
well.
very sad.
Tough week.
It's yeah.
Tough
Telling ya.
week.
Mm-mm.
Tough death week. Let's see. Tammy says Priscilla's coming to Atlanta. She's so excited.
Ooh.
Everybody's talking about David Briggs passing away.
Mhm.
Carol saying she's so glad she got to meet Wink last year as well and got his signed book.
Yeah.
Everybody's sad about Wink.
I know. That was sad.
Hello, Margaret. Sorry to hear you've been under the weather. I hope you feel better soon. A lot of people struggling with like allergies and colds and weather stuff right now.
Yes. It's
Carol's
terrible.
already pre-ordered her Priscilla book. I know I got to get on it. Carrie says she wants to read Priscilla's new book. She hopes they make a movie out of it.
A
That-
TV movie.
That would be cool.
That would
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Let's see.
Mhm. Everybody's pretty positive. Everybody's wanting to read it. Interesting.
Hello, Clorinda. Yes, T.G. Shepherd did have a show for a hot minute on Elvis Radio.
He did.
Or on Sirius
Yes.
Radio.
Yes, he did.
Everybody's happy that we had such a good time at Tom Jones.
We did.
Let's see. Everybody's agreeing with us about Tom's graphics, that he should put his young Tom in the graphics.
I'm telling you, call Alex Mitchell and Cody Daynath and Dean Z, because those men know how to put some graphics on the screen.
Fun. Maria says she's going to meet Ginger Alden in June with her daughter in the UK.
Cute.
Very cool.
Wow.
A lot of people were guessing. I love that you guys guessed that it was Dean Z sitting beside me at the Robin Auditorium. I love that journey.
Y'all know if it had been him, this one would have already had up 20 pictures that she took.
Yeah. I would have actually had to be like, Holly, you're going to have to switch seats with me so that I'll actually pay attention to Tom Jones.
I know, because Heather would have been like,
I also love that a lot of people guessed Ginger Alden. I wish we had known she. That's so weird that she was
that
at
is
the
so
Sinatra's.
bizarre.
That's so weird she was at Sinatra's.
Well, T.G. Shepherd might have been. We didn't know it. We were probably all there and just didn't know it.
Right. Yeah, everybody's saying they wish they would bring Tom to Elvis Week.
Yeah.
Maybe, y'all. Maybe.
Someday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks Elvis would still be killing it till this day, singing and performing.
For sure.
I know.
Hmm.
Yes, Tammy, I did see that. She said, did you see where Cody Daynath is also sick and having issues with his voice? I know.
So sad.
I know. Yeah, Tammy says Priscilla's going to be in Bristol, Tennessee next Thursday.
Fun.
She thought about making the drive. I know, I saw that as well, but Holly and I just can't make it work. Let's see. Everybody's saying they loved Dallas.
Listen.
And they want to hear Priscilla's accounts of Dallas.
I know. Hey, I'm thinking about doing a rewatch channel on my YouTube and just rewatching all Dallas episodes and then getting on there and chit-chatting with y'all about it. That and Knox Landing. Because I found them finally.
Yeah, the book comes out in September officially. You can pre-order now, but I think the release date is like September 23rd or 25th, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, I'm telling you, comments galore. Good night.
Oh, Bev, Holly and I want to do that. She says South Fork is amazing. She went there to see the eclipse. Such a fun place. I know, Holly and I want to go to see South Fork.
I do. I want to rewatch Dallas and then go. So I'll be very familiar. I'll remember everything because it's been a long time since I've seen it.
I know, Carol. I read that as well. Linda Thompson, of course, posted like a little thing about David Briggs and his passing.
Yeah.
And yeah, she said that Linda said David was the reason she became a songwriter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she basically said that he knew that she wrote like a lot of poems and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that he had read some of them and was so impressed by them. He was like, these would be great lyrics. Like, you should turn these into songs. And he kind of like, gave her that little push and motivation to become a songwriter.
That's awesome.
Yep. That rain is coming down.
I know, I can hear it. So crazy. All right, y'all. Well, we've kept you on here for forever, but there was a lot to talk about today, and you know us, we can talk. Even if there's not much to talk about, we can talk.
Yes.
But anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the Tom Jones videos. Yeah. Once again, if anybody has any of the D&Z Live that you shared to your page and it's still there, let me know.
Yeah, send it. Let us know.
Let me know.
Now, we will not be back on Sunday.
Right. Oh,
Holly's
yeah.
going out of town.
I'm going. Guess where I'm going, y'all?
She's super excited.
Talladega. I'm going to a race.
Ricky Bobby.
I'm so excited. That is the most redneck thing I've done in a while, and I'm pumped about it. And I can say that because I am redneck. Yes, I'm going to Talladega. Some dear friends of mine live there right near the track, so we are going to go and have a fun-filled weekend. Mm-hmm. So I'm super pumped about that. So, yes, we will not be. I keep trying to tell Heather she could go solo. I mean, she could do it.
I'll see if I've,
this might be a little time off for her, too. So, yes, I'll be at the races. Maybe I'll post some pictures. Maybe I'll take a little video or two and show you guys the race. It's my first time going to anything like this. I'm very excited about it. So I'll be gone. So we won't be on Sunday, but don't worry. The next Sunday we will be back on with bells on to chit chat. 'Cause I'm sure there's so much going on, and and in the next 2 weeks, I'm sure a lot of stuff will happen. Heather will keep check on it.
Yep.
And we'll have our list of stuff to go over.
We're almost to May, y'all. It's getting closer and closer to Elvis week.
So
and we're still working hard on those goodie bags. So
I know.
Some announcements coming soon.
I'm obsessed with it. That's all I've been thinking about. So
announcements coming soon. But thank you all so much for joining us on this Thursday. I'm glad a lot of you were able to make it work. A lot more of you than I thought. Tuned in. I told Holly, I was like, well, we'll just get on there and then people will have to go watch the replay. Exactly. So thank you all so much. Go listen to Tom Jones. Go listen to Elvis. Cuddle up in this rain if it's raining where you are. And we'll see you soon.
We will see you soon. Bye.